talknorth.com is powered by Bite Squad. Go to bitesquad.com or download their app. Get food to your door in minutes. Use the promo code TALKNORTH to get your first delivery free. Talk North gets you your first delivery free.
You're listening to the Strom Sports Show.
Yes, you are. How are you today? Steven Strom Sports Show, talknorth.com. Jim Suhan, Brandon Morton, my producer. If you want to advertise with us, as always, visit talknorth.com. You have Jim Suhan's email provided on there. Now, we got a busy show today. Matthew Coller of ESPN 1500 a little later. He'll join me. We're going to have Negative Dave, as always. Everything seems to balance out, and I've said this to people a million times with the Minnesota sports. They had one great weekend with the Gopher football team winning, the Vikings winning, the Timberwolves winning, and everything seemed perfect. And then the next week, everything evens out. Vikings lose, Wild lose, T-Wolves lose. Everything takes care of itself. It's a state of sports misery there for a reason. Now, quick recap here. Gopher football team, they made their bowl. They got to 6-6. They will play in the Quicken Lane Bowl versus Georgia Tech. That will be on Wednesday, December 26th, 5:15 Eastern Time for me, 4:15 Central Time for you. Now, let's begin. Before I get to Coller and Negative Dave, I want to begin with the aggravating 24-10 Vikings loss to the Patriots on Sunday. It's going to be a sour start, a sour show to definitely, begin this whole thing. And I've been good with containing my emotions about these games. I've been very unbiased. But if you're a Vikings fan today, you got to be very, very upset. You got to be very worried. You got to be nervous. And you're in a state of confusion because you added Kirk Cousins. You signed Danielle Hunter. You re-signed Stephon Diggs. You got Dalvin Cook back. And all of a sudden, you're 6-5-1 and in the last wild card spot. You are in the last wild card spot, and you're playing Seattle this week, who is right in front of you. You have Carolina behind you that's a game out. And the last four, you look at it, are the Vikings going to go into Seattle and beat the Seahawks? Are they going to come home? Are they going to take care of the Dolphins? Are they going to take care of the Lions and then take care of the Bears? It's very questionable right now. But I want to start with this game because it really aggravated me. Let's begin with the first play of the game, right? Anthony Barr, who's been just up and down his whole career. Rookie year, makes a Pro Bowl, looks like he's a promising linebacker. The next year, he openly says in a press conference after the year, yeah, I didn't take every play serious. Yeah, I wasn't giving it my all on every play. Okay, next year, which was last year, makes a Pro Bowl. This year, he is nowhere to be found. The first play of the game, if you're really, really watching this, Brady goes back to pass, throws a duck to Anthony Barr. Barr doesn't even put his hands up. He sees it last second and puts his hand on his head. You know what that shows me? You're not ready. Wake up. It's the first play of game in Foxborough where you have to have this game, where the Vikings haven't beaten the team over 500, and you're not ready to play. I said it last week. You have to play a perfect game to beat the New England Patriots. A perfect game. Can't turn it over. Got to capitalize on mistakes. Can't settle for three. First play of the game showed me, well, Anthony Barr sure ain't ready. First play of the game had an opportunity to flip the field. Turn over Brady. Doesn't do it. There's a lot of things that really bothered me. So I have a bunch of stuff I want to go over. Number 2, Kirk Cousins. Kirk. $84 million. And I've defended you till the end. It is fourth and 11. And this goes on John DeFilippo, and I'll get into him a little later too. It is 4th and 11. John DeFilippo sets up a slant route to Laquan Treadwell, who is, I'm at a loss for words for how he's still in a Vikings uniform. I get that, and this is where the Vikings get so stubborn, that Treadwell's his first-round pick and they don't want to give up on him. Why isn't Aldrick Robinson playing? Every time Robinson's in the game, he catches something, or he gets a first down, or he gets a touchdown. I mean, he had, in his first 2 games with the Vikings, I'm talking about Aldrick Robinson, he had 2 touchdowns. Treadwell's 1. In his first 2 games, compared to Treadwell's 3 years, he had more touchdowns. But they continually play Laquan Treadwell over him. I don't understand it. And they've done such a good job drafting. Seriously. You found a gem in Daniil Hunter. You found a gem in Stephon Diggs. You drafted everything. You really drafted well. You had one hiccup, couple hiccups. Christian Ponder and obviously Laquan Treadwell. It's okay. You can release them. You can let them go. You can give up on them. You can do that. But the 4th and 11 slant, and this is Cousins' fault. This is DeFilippo's fault. This is also Treadwell's fault. It's 4th and 11. What are you doing throwing a 6-yard slant? To up your completion percentage? To give Treadwell a couple more catches on the year? Why is it taking so long for the Vikings to realize that Robinson is a better third wide receiver than Treadwell? Why? And he's still not. This brings me to John DeFilippo, who I can't understand the drool. Everyone drools over this guy, John DeFilippo. Oh man, he won't be in Minnesota long. He'll be the head coach somewhere. Oh, Cleveland, Green Bay. Why? Why is he this prized possession? Why is everyone going crazy over John DeFilippo? Can I read you the offensive numbers for one of the most talented offenses in the league? Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Kyle Rudolph, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. I mean, that is very he has enough talent to be a top 5 offense in the league. Do you want me to read you the stats here? The Vikings are 22nd in points per game with 22. They're 16th in total yards with 360. Now they're 7th in passing yards with 274. I think that's skewed because a lot of these games are trailing, and the Vikings got to throw the ball towards the end. And then the last one, the putrid one, the one that makes you want to vomit, is the rushing. 30th in the league, 86.1 yards per game rushing the ball. So John DeFilippo, the hidden gem that's going to be hired as the next head coach somewhere, is 22nd in points per game, is 16th in total yards, and 30th in rushing yards in the entire NFL. But everyone is drooling over John DeFilippo. They can't wait for, go. I mean, if I'm a Viking fan, okay, wow. Pat Shurmur did a way better job than what DeFilippo is doing. And Shurmur did it with Case Keenum. Case Keenum, who's a journeyman. Kirk Cousins is $84 million guaranteed coming over from Washington. And you can't make this work better with Diggs, with Thielen. And let's not forget, Pat Shurmur did not have Dalvin Cook. He had to work with Latavius Murray. And these numbers were way better. If John DeFilippo leaves, okay, see ya. Don't let the door hit you behind the butt. Now, Kirk Cousins, let's get into him a little. I have a lot to. This game, it didn't bother. A lot of these games don't bother me as much. This one really bugged me. Cousins is in a win-lose situation, I think, a lot of times because he can't find the middle of being aggressive and conservative for a lot of these games. Against Chicago, you saw him be a lot more aggressive. I think he saw Mitchell Trubisky and said, he's hearing all the noise. He's got to play out a guy like Mitchell Trubisky. He has to. And then he starts making stupid decisions. Now, with the Patriot game, he's going against one of the greatest of all time and Tom Brady. He knows he's on the road. He can't turn it over. I thought he was extremely, extremely conservative, was checking it down, didn't want to take the big throw, didn't want to take the big risk, didn't want to be the guy to be to blame when the Vikings lose, and that's exactly what he did. He's failed to find the middle of aggressive and conservative, and that concerns me because if you're $84 million guaranteed, you got to figure that out. You have to figure out ways to win on the road. I mean, let's look at it. The Saints, the Rams, the Patriots. He hasn't beaten any of those teams. You look at the wins that the Vikings have had. I mean, they're just not very good. They're just not very good, the wins. The 49ers, the Jets, the Packers, the Lions, the Cardinals. Are the Eagles the claim to fame this year with the Vikings? Is that the win that set us that makes the Vikings? I mean, if I'm an analyst and I'm looking at the Vikings, paper tiger, pretenders, who have they beaten? Who have they beaten? And it starts with Kirk Cousins, who's been very good in a lot of these games statistically. Statistic-wise, he's been great. But Viking fans don't care about that. You can go 10 for 15 for 115 yards. If you win the game, everyone loves you. We'll put a statue up in front of U.S. Bank. But for now, he's got to find the middle of aggressive and conservative. Couple more things. How about, and this is talking about not being ready for the game. How about Dan Bailey, right? Ready to kick a field goal. Put us on the board. 7-0. Dan Bailey comes trotting out. The placeholder comes running, sprinting on the field with 10 seconds left. Yeah, are you not ready? Are you not here? Dan Bailey, if Dan Bailey's going out to kick a field goal, I think the place kicker should be right behind him talking to him. But instead, Matt Wiles sprinting on the field with 10 seconds left. They have to, it's quick snap, and that's that. Dan Bailey misses a kick. Mike Zimmer, no halftime adjustments. None. Totally out-coached, outclassed by Bill Belichick. And the bottom line is, and this is the biggest takeaway I took from this game. I saw on multiple occasions they show Brady, and Brady's laughing. He's laughing during this game. As Viking fans, we like to hype up these December games. Wow, we're going to Foxborough. We're 6-4, 6-4-1. December, Kirk Cousins versus Brady. This is great. For Tom Brady, I mean, this is a tune-up game for the playoffs. This isn't even this is a preseason game for him. It's just funny how Brady just kind of laughs at the Vikings. These guys think they're coming in here and they think they're going to come into Foxborough and beat us in December. Oh my goodness. I mean, it really, as Viking fans, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for us that you're playing a meaningful December game in Foxborough. And it just shows the direction and the tradition of both these franchises. They're complete polar opposites. The Patriots, an illustrious dynasty who's won multiple Super Bowls, and the Vikings, who find ways to screw up seasons better than anyone else I've ever seen in my life. The combined record of the opponents in Vikings wins this year, 21-49-1. The combined record of opponent in losses this year for the Vikings, 42-18. And out of all of this, which is just the craziest thing, they still control their own destiny in the wild card. How do you feel about the Vikings? Do you feel confident going into these last 4 games? You think they're going to win on Monday night? We'll vent with Matthew Coller. He's up next. Don't go away. Now, our good friend Matthew Coller, ESPN 1500, he covers the Vikings. He's going to give us some time here, so maybe he can calm me down, give me some type of inspiration or something to make me not go off the ledge about this team. Matt, thank you so much for giving me the time. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm not sure that's always my strong point, is giving people reason for optimism.
No, I know, and I love you. I love when you come on because you're unbiased. You're not even. People think, when I actually, put you on here, they think because you are from Buffalo, you are from New York, so they think that you are from Minnesota because you have that kind of Midwestern accent. And I like that you are not biased. So did you know that? You do have that strong Midwestern accent.
Huh, I did not know that.
Yes.
But I also come from a place, though, where I understand the fatalism of the fan base.
Yes.
I understand the disappointments and kind of the outlook and how things can be when there's high expectations and then you come short of them, which is kind of going on right now.
Yes, and you fit right in. I mean, you fit right into the organization. So without further ado, let's begin with my Kirk Cousins theory. I have a little theory I talked about in the monologue, and I just want to tell you, you're an expert. I want you to tell me if I'm off or whatever. I feel like Kirk Cousins doesn't know or doesn't have the feel of being conservative and being aggressive. Like against the Bears, I felt he was overly aggressive. He had areas where he could run for 5 yards, but he wanted to make the big throw. I think a lot of stuff in the media was trying to get him to think that he needed to outplay Trubisky. And then against the Patriots, you saw him be extremely conservative, checking down. He didn't want to make mistakes. Do I have the right feel? Am I on the radar with this at all?
Yeah, no, I think there's something to that. I guess that the way that I look at Cousins is that when the Vikings signed him to a very, very, very lucrative contract, that he set a certain type of expectation for what people think he was going to bring this team. That they expected that if they put a couple good wide receivers with him, a dynamic playmaking running back, that all of a sudden the Tiger would change its stripes. And he really hasn't changed his stripes. In fact, if you take his average season just in traditional statistics for his first 3 years in Washington, he's basically doing the same thing right now.
Yep.
Is that he's he got a high completion percentage and a good number of turnovers, and it's just been a good season statistically. And if you look at some of the ups and downs for things where, his performance is graded, like Pro